What's going on, everyone? If you remember 2 weeks ago during the new moon, we did temperature measurements of out in the open versus under a gazebo. And we did it last night with full moon.
Okay, so we're going to do this on a full moon night. It is 5:30, Saturday, January 3rd. Sun sets in 4 minutes officially, but I'm in the shade here. So there's our one out in the open. There's our one under the gazebo. They're in the same locations. We will come back tomorrow morning and grab them and look at the data. But we're setting them out now because I have to go somewhere for most of the evening. Well, guys, it's just after 8. The sun's rising. The moon is over there. Look at that beauty. And these ran all night. So we're going to take them in and analyze all the data. Just picked them up and noticed this. There's condensation all over the one that was out in the open right there. And there's no condensation on the one that was under the gazebo.
So we have all our data for the full moon measurement. We have our same 15-minute averages. So as a reminder, I just took everything at a 15-minute mark, every 5-second measurement, and then averaged it. And then we've got all our charts. And we're not going to look at all that because we're just going to do a side-by-side comparison today. So this was during the new moon, 12/20/24. We've got our two lines here of red is under the gazebo temperature, blue is out in the open temperature, and yellow is the difference, the line difference between the measurements. This is all in Fahrenheit because America. So that was during the new moon. And then last night during the full moon, 1/3/25, we've got the blue line being outside, out in the open, the red line being under the gazebo, the yellow line being the difference in temperatures. The meridian I have marked here because this is when the moon was at high moon, up in the highest point in the sky, dead south. And then about here and about here is when the sensor under the gazebo was in complete shade. So yeah, from that mark to about this mark. And down here, we have the differences to really do a comparison. So I'm going to use this chart here. What we have is a difference in the first measurement at 6:30 p.m., then the average difference between 6:30 p.m. and midnight, which is that, then the midnight difference, then the average difference from midnight until 7 a.m. And just as I'm doing this, the meridian for the moon last night for me was at about 12:25. And then we have the difference for the end at 7 a.m. So here we go. Right at the beginning, there was a difference of 3.25 degrees on the new moon and 3.66 degrees during the full moon. So there was a little bit bigger of a difference already right at the full moon. Then the first half average, new moon, 4.42, full moon, 3.37. So the temperature actually was pretty stable the first half of the evening during the full moon. Then the difference at midnight, 3.76 versus 3.14. And then the second half averages, 4.96 versus 4.66 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the end differences at 7 a.m., 5.34 versus 5.18 degrees. So even though there was this spike in growth of difference, it didn't change much. And you can kind of see like here, it's pretty stable. Here, it looks like it's shooting up vertical, but it didn't really change. That's because this starts high much. So here's the actual difference between start and end. On the new moon, between 6:30 a.m. and between 6:30 p.m. and 7 a.m., the difference in difference of degrees was 2 degrees, 2.9 degrees. During a full moon, between the start of this and the end of this, the difference in difference of temperature was only 1.5. So in my opinion, this is pretty conclusive that the full moon doesn't have cold moonlight. You can kind of see that both of these trend they trend the exact same lines. The difference does grow a little bit here, and my guess is that humidity. You could see those sensors were covered in dew. So that humidity probably made it feel a little colder because it was wet. This is my final debunk video for the stupidity that moonlight is cold, because I've measured it now 3 times during a new moon, twice during a full moon, and we get the same results. Like there is a slight difference, but it's because the gazebo or a tree canopy or right next to a wall is causing heat retention, and not the out in the open is the moonlight causing cold. So don't fall for stupid things on the internet. Test the claim yourself. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on how to easily debunk the stupidity that people fall for, and have a good one.